Perfect. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Discipline Debbie podcast. I'm your host, EO Discipline. Alongside me is Suhey Sotomayor. Just one more episode left.
Exciting.
We're gonna get into it, but first, y'all are back because y'all know y'all fiends, but y'all know what that means. We're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy where not everything is completely free. As we are on Patreon for a plethora of exclusive content, behind the scenes bloopers for you to see. But what is free is it's judgment free, sucker free, censorship free, and some liberty. God and ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, and my favorite roll of blunt. But make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and vulgar conversation. Prepare your mind to be fed. Light one up, inhale life, and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned into the Discipline Debbie podcast.
We're here. And if you haven't already, don't forget to purchase your tickets for this
Hold
year.
on. I might hurt their ears, but I get this right. Okay.
If you haven't already, don't forget to purchase your tickets for this year's Divine Disciplines Workshop, BDSM Masterclass Part 2. And as always, we'd like to give Joe and Center Stage Music Studio in Belmore a big shout out for always having the rooms ready for us. So if you're interested, if you have a need to do recording, music, podcast, whatever, Joe at Center Stage Music in Belmore, that's the place to go. You also want to check out our e-commerce store online at disciplinetherapy.launchcart.store/shop. And we have a bunch of different categories to choose from. You can just go on there and browse, get tons of things that you like because the quality of that stuff is amazing. And last but not least, you can purchase any one of Mr. Discipline's 7 published books. They're available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com. They're also available for electronic devices like iPads and all that good stuff.
Topic 153.
You're good. That's a part 2.
2 more left. Right?
That's true.
14. I'm keeping the numbers right. Like,
Yeah.
season premiere will be 155. Season 15.
See, there's a method to his madness, people.
Purpose. Yeah.
So this is a part 2. No woman submits to highly feminine energy, and no man provides for highly masculine energy.
All right. Do you believe that is statement to be an ideology, an opinion, perspective, or is it facts?
You know what? I would have probably said more, maybe it's just like an opinion. But at work yesterday, 2 of my male nurses were talking, and I heard them speaking, and they were saying how, one was like, where would you find a traditional woman? And I looked at them because they're obviously a lot younger than I am, and I was stunned, and I'm listening to them talk, and they're saying, if I could have my wife stay home and not work and to just take care of the kids and stuff, I would love to do that. So I'm going to go with that's a fact.
Yeah, I believe it to be true.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know of these terms, even if we don't know of, this ideology, kind of like influence creates thinking, and then thinking leads to like actions. So if, depending on how you were raised, what you saw growing up, 2-parental household, like, we got to be specific. We could be like, okay, if there's 2 parental figures there, their mental health, spiritual health, physical health will not be in jeopardy. Not true. They got to be in their core. That's the thing too, because I've seen some people grow up fucked up where there were 2 parental figures, but the mom is wearing the pants there. So the guys still grow up beta. They still grow up fucked up. The girls still grow up fucked up. Maybe they grow up to be feminists and they don't even know of that term. It's like I said, it's actions, based off what they're seeing. They're seeing authority in the woman. So they're like, yeah, I can do what I want. I can do what a man wants. It's my life, my way. Because they see that in the woman specifically. Um, so all many different circumstances. Where you grow up, your environment, low income, you see a lot of crime.
Mm-hmm.
You're traumatized. That PTSD leads to aggression, uncontrolled aggression,
Yeah.
certain behaviors. I could do this, whatever it is, no accountability, all circumstantial. Um, so even if they are unfamiliar or unaware of these terms, it really comes down to how their body's reacting to it. All these circumstances, dwelling on their circumstances, what they saw as children to believe that is law.
Mm.
So yeah, I believe it to be true, and it's mainly about the energy.
Yeah.
So if biologically women are to be attracted to the stronger genes.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've been saying since 2016, 2015, wrote it in my first book, The Seduction of Discipline as well. Um, it's just biological. No matter how she's behaving, when she's in the presence of what she believes is authority, and the man doesn't have to walk into the room pumping his chest or whatever it is, it comes back down to energy.
Mm-hmm.
The way he presents himself, the way he moves, um, certain level of calmness. Like he kind of shows that he's not. He doesn't kind of show. He shows that he's opposite of the woman, and the woman picks up on that.
Mm.
Especially if a woman is like crazy, she believes sporadic, lacks discipline, and then you walk into a room and you're around the guy who is calm, you're around the guy who maintains his composure, you're around the guy who, yeah,
I'm gonna grab the other one.
this is
It's right there.
all right, all right, good,
Mm.
better.
Yeah.
This education is gonna get out there. Whether
Oh
the
yeah.
devil is trying to fuck it up, we having technical difficulties. We're gonna fix that because
You
it's
know.
getting
Sorry.
it's getting out there regardless.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, when I heard
Yeah.
those two nurses, I was like, what? I was like, were you watching our show?
Okay. Like I was saying, it doesn't matter, how it's being portrayed, you feel it. So a guy who's poised, he's disciplined, he's emotionally mature, he can regulate his emotions, emotional intelligence, which a lot of women lack these qualities, right? When they see the opposite of them, they just naturally fall back
Mm.
versus seeing identical men on my level, whatever it is, and then it's like I'm anxious.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a level of calm when the woman is in the presence of masculinity or dominant man. She gets back into that. There's a level of anxiety when the woman is in the presence of high feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for submission to be present, first and foremost, the woman has to feel comfortable because
Yeah.
that's through comfort is the only way submission is going to thrive. They don't need to understand what I'm saying. I'm just breaking it down in a
Mm-hmm.
biological scientific aspect. But like I said, actions speak louder. So a woman could just, oh, I'm never going to submit. I'm never. And then she is
Mm-hmm.
because
Without even knowing.
her actions are snitching on her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Her body betrays her. You know what I'm saying? So it's true.
Yeah.
And then you have the opposite of high masculine energy. um no one provides for high masculine energy. Like you're not gonna get another man that's gonna provide for another man. You're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna get a masculine man that's gonna provide for another masculine man. unless it's some type of education. Oh, you're not skilled at this. I'm not really into so much about the fitness aspect. I know how to work out, but I didn't know that there was diet to it. And some type of regimen and stuff like that. Like how you maintain that, be just working out three days a week. Me, like some guys have approached me. That's 3 days a week. Yeah, because I diet most of the days, and that's what it's all about. It's 80% diet, 20% exercise. So now I'm breaking down the science of it as, oh shit, BMI. Like now they're like, oh, that's the only way they could provide that. What?
Right. I was gonna say, but it's an education. You're not giving them anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, it's
you're
different.
still providing that.
Yes.
That's the only thing. But I don't believe that they're gonna provide and protect for the masculine. Masculine man's not gonna provide and protect for another masculine man. We're like identical. We do the same things, even if we live different lifestyles.
Right.
Our ideologies are close, very similar.
Right. at the
Even though
core
we
of
live
it.
different lifestyles. So now we flip it on the woman being like that, a hyper masculine woman. A man is gonna come in and just initially, oh, she's already displaying she's strong, independent. She doesn't need me. So she could do everything herself. I'm not going to, and it's unspoken. Not a lot of men are just gonna say, I'm not gonna do this because you do this already. It's just unspoken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if the feminine comes to you needing you, the masculine steps up. If he's already a masculine man, he's bringing this regardless. Now it kind of, you bump heads with the high masculine man and the hyper masculine woman when he wants to be needed, but she's already like, well, I don't need that. I don't need a man. I want a man. So now, in a sense of, he's still offering and providing, regardless what she's saying, because he's stubborn and stuck in his ways. There's still a struggle. She might show that she's appreciative. Oh, I'm appreciative of this, but she still is used to doing things on her own. So there's still a struggle. Hey, I thought I told you don't bring in the groceries. I always do that. Oh, well, I didn't really want to wait. Now he feels away. I mean, it depends, right? So if the guy is a great communicator and is not knows how to articulate himself, and it will bother him to retain this information, especially if it's somebody I love, he's gonna speak out. Then you have another man who may not be as much, and he doesn't now care. Perhaps they haven't invested time together, so he doesn't care. So he retains that. He retains those feelings. He might feel hurt, but like we were growing up, these type of men, oh, don't talk about your feelings. Don't do this. Don't do that. It's emasculation. So now he retains that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to seem like a complainer. In his mind, strike one. So she doesn't even know. So you're going through a pattern, and now she's realizing, well, I'm meeting these type of guys who don't provide, who don't protect. I never felt safe. We look at the core.
Do you think a lot of women do that though? Like they realize that? I think that's a lot of women would just be like, he just couldn't handle me. That's what I feel like. Because what you're saying is that's a healed woman that can say, oh, you know what I mean? Like that last statement you said. I feel like most women like, he just couldn't handle me because I'm independent.
The
The
unhealed.
masculine, the unhealed, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But I do feel
I think you're right. But it's like it's a double whammy, because she might say, yeah, I was like this because I never was put in a position for comfort. I never felt safe around certain guys. Oh, there was one hand to me. It's still
100%.
toxic on both ends. I don't believe that the woman that's articulating I never felt safe is really saying that because she's garnering respect, you know what I'm saying, and value from that man. I don't think she's saying that in that sense. She's probably saying it, without realizing, like you said, But it's more so when you look in depth, it's those guys she chooses, one, and two, it's her actions. And she's not seeing that. It's toxic on both ends. The passive aggressive woman says that. The aggressive woman says what you said. So the passive aggressive woman is more, yeah, I really never felt safe around certain guys. They didn't put me in a position. She's not taking accountability. She's blaming. The other one is like making it about her. Yeah, I'm too much. They weak. They weak. They can't handle a strong woman like me. I'm too much for them. He can't handle a strong woman like me. They don't like women who are highly educated. It makes them feel insecure. Now the shaming comes in and stuff of that nature. They're both not taking accountability, but one's passive aggressive, one's aggressive.
Yeah, definitely. I also feel like when you said earlier, a woman, if she sees a man with the same type of feminine energy, where, if she's like hysterical and then he's also hysterical, a woman likes to feel safe and secure, especially with her significant other. So if she's like in a frenzy or something's going on with her, she's looking to him, okay, what's our next move? If she sees that he's in the same frenzy, now she's like, well, now we're all fucked up. Now what do we do? You know what I mean? The same thing, like you said, with the man who doesn't like to provide for high masculine energy. A man, like you said, likes to feel like he's a protector, like he's the one that's taking care of it. And if he's constantly faced, I know tons of guys who would say, I'm not gonna help. He's the same as me. Why am I gonna carry him when we can do the same thing together? So in that instance, if the woman who's in her high masculine keeps, no, don't do that, I could do it myself, or no, I'm good, I don't need this, or whatever, it's gonna come to a point like how you just said, he's gonna be like, all right, well then what am I even doing here? What's the purpose?
Yeah. So like I've said this in episode 14 on Why Black Lives Matter, season 2, right? I'm saying right, like you remember.
I remember.
So yeah, it's true. I've said that like men like to feel needed. So just like in the BDSM life, the dom wants to feel needed, the sub wants to feel wanted, desired, wanted, and stuff of that nature. So the man wants the woman, doesn't need him. That's how the masculine is built. He's built to be independent, resilient, reliable, competent, he's strong, leader, dominant, stuff, all that nature, right? The woman is built to need the man. This is the yin and the yang. So the soft girl vibes, the soft girl energy actually gets what she wants. Because remember, this goes back to the needing aspect, right? So me, I tell you that this goes back to the grocery situation. A little subtle scenario like that. When she's doing that, it's like a shot to my pride. What do those people
For
say?
the man?
Like it's bruising his ego. It's a shot to his pride. Because in that moment, it's like I talked about that Hercules episode, I think last show, when Ares was like to Strife, oh yeah, don't let women get be a toolbox. Don't let them take out the garbage. Don't let them open their own doors, because they're gonna feel like they don't need you. So in that moment, it's like that man wants to feel needed, because part of him feeling needed is part of his masculinity. It's his identity. That makes him feel good. So these guys may not know what I'm saying, but they might think it.
They're understanding.
They're understanding it. Like, oh, that makes sense. So maybe that's why now you get into certain arguments with this type of guy. Maybe that's why he's out there lying and cheating. You know what I'm saying? Constantly. It's gonna happen, because a man could just be having his spurts, right? He go, okay, I could be monogamous for 6 months, and then certain things happen, and it happens to meet somebody who is completely opposite of you, and then he's cheating without letting you know about it. But he was good for 6 months. He really wants to be faithful and monogamous, but then he's doing it. He's not the serial cheater guy, but he cheats once in a while based off that. So we're not even put into account of accountability.
That's true.
Because there's no communication. Remember, the guy that is more like me, and I'm not boasting, but is more like me, who's comfortable in communicating and communicates effectively, is gonna like tell you more so what's bothering him and give you a chance to fix it.
Yeah, that's important.
You know what I'm saying? Even if he is going out there and connecting or whatever, he's gonna give you a chance to fix it.
And I want to say a lot of younger guys, well, maybe older guys too, they don't do that because and again, I just had a phone call. That too, I just got a phone call with my son, one of my son's best friends, and he was telling me something about his relationship, and he's like, I don't want to tell her that because I don't want to hurt her feelings. And I'm like, no, it's not fair to you or her. You not telling it. If you want to work it out, you have to verbalize what it is that you're going through. You hiding it, it's gonna make you resent her because you can't say it, and then you acting different towards her, she's gonna start resenting you, and she doesn't even know why.
Yeah.
So guys, it's important, even if you don't want to hurt her feelings, you could always be mindful with how you speak. Don't just shoot off the hip. I don't know if that's the correct saying, but be mindful, be, and then still say what you have to say because that's important.
Yeah. So let me see. Some examples of like high masculine energy in a woman and high feminine energy in a man or male. So women who have high body counts, women or females who dress provocatively, pose provocatively, speak provocatively constantly, who are loud even when they speak.
Are loud? You said loud?
Okay. Loud. We could say that why some men shame females with high body count, but also complain why how hard it is to get sex.
Because why would he shame her?
Yeah, so it could be a group of guys that are doing this, right? They're shaming women for their high body count, but also complaining why or how hard it is to get sex.
Because they're picky and they think that the woman should be more picky with who she's allowing into her body.
Okay. So the same men that shame those women for high body counts also shame why they're boring in bed or less experienced.
Like another woman who doesn't have a high body count?
Yeah.
So he doesn't like the woman with a high body count, and he's also complaining about the woman who's not as experienced.
Yeah, so they're shaming the women for the high body count, and they're like, well, it's hard to get sex. You gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and you gotta have a height preference, and you gotta have this type of money, and you gotta have that for her to even pay attention to you. But they're also shaming for the high body count. You see how it's like a double standard thing? And then you got the same type of males who shame those females for high body count. And also shame them why they're boring in bed and also less experienced. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Like, what do you want? What are you looking for?
What do you believe is going on with these guys? Are they high feminine energy?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah. Right when you said it, I looked, I was like, that's the answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
It takes me a minute, people.
Yeah. So, first of all, the women with the high body count, who men may perceive as hoes, right? Let's call a spade a spade. Those women don't get protected and provided for. This is the hyper masculine woman. A hoe is highly in her masculine. So when men see these type of women, they don't want to provide and protect them. Feel like because even if they're unfamiliar with these terms, they don't feel soft girl energy. Because the woman that's a hoe, she embodies a lot of masculine traits. And I'll give you an example. She's aggressive. It's not common you're going to see a hoe who's quiet.
Okay.
is the fact. And if she is quiet and just doing it on the low, there's other things she exhibits that's dominant. She controls those guys. They're dominant. Whether she's her mindset, how she moves, how she dresses. So even if she's not loud and whatever it is, she could seem polite and whatever it is, she's still adopting these other masculine traits still. So she's still a hoe. Remember I think it was 114. Maybe mistaken. 114 when we talked about hoe phase.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I believe that a hoe is not just necessarily sexual intercourse or matter of fact promiscuous. I don't believe that. It's also her mannerisms, it's also her mindset. And you were like, oh yeah,
How she carries herself.
So she is embodying all these things too. So like I said, it's very rare. The hoe can't be feminine too. No, I cook, I clean, I fuck, I shut up. No. That's you still a hoe. Hoes can be submissive. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Yeah, hoes can be submissive because it really depends on your definition of it.
That's true.
There's the real definition and then there's your definition of it. So she could be like, I cook, I clean, I shut up, I fuck. And she thinks that's submissive. But listen to how she's talking. That's hyper masculine. I cook, I clean, I shut up, I fuck. You see, like she's masculine. Cause every woman could be that. Remember that song with Cardi B? Oh, look at this ring. I don't cook, I don't clean. Look at this ring. Yeah. And then you see a video of her doing that. Yeah, they do it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the single ladies, Beyonce, whatever, all that shit propaganda to influence, all that shit. CIA putting that on purpose to influence the youth and break it up. So with that being said, like these men are not gonna provide for that because they don't see you like their mother, their grandmother. They don't see you like ancestry. So they just like, oh, you know, she's hyper masculine. They don't have to put a term to it. Their subconscious does. Their spirit does. And then you got the guys who are constantly complaining, high feminine energy, betas. Oh, I'm not gonna be dominant here unless you be submissive first. Like we were talking about in 151.
Or even feminine energy, instead of doing things around the house, they want to, and no offense to the guys that do like to play video games, but all day long, you know, playing the video games, unless you're getting paid for that, it shouldn't be all day, like the whole weekend type thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's also, I think, high feminine energy.
Yeah. So normally, like, women are not going to submit to those guys because they're already not showing up as men. Like, they need to show up as men regardless of how the woman's going to behave because they believe I'm a leader. So if I chose right, she's going to follow my program. This is how a boss looks because it's like, I don't need you. I want you here for the job. But there's a lot of applications in my office. You know what I'm saying? So this is the policies and the guidelines of the corporation I run. If you want the job, you have to abide by this. Because if you don't, then it's a violation. Many times of a violation or many occurrences of the violation, you out the door. So it's the same thing. It's a double whammy too, because sometimes these women that have been used to these type of guys, when they meet the boss, they're anxious too. They're anxious too because they get, and I wrote this in a post, they get anxiety. Their nervous system is up because the guy doesn't need them and he moves like that. So they're nervous. They have a scarcity mindset, the toxic way. Oh my God, you know, he doesn't need me. So he could replace me. He could lose it. Like they're already putting that into the universe. Even if they're not verbalizing it, they're thinking it. Instead of, let me get on my shit because this is where I want to be. This guy's showing me where it could be. Elevation is right there like the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he got the key to that door. They're not thinking in that aspect. They're looking at it like, yo, I've always dealt with guys that were broken and I needed to fix them, that were
Yeah,
unhealed. And maybe I might have been unhealed, but I was better than him. And I was teaching him. I was educating him. I was smarter than him. I was helping him with certain bills. He couldn't get up. So I gave him a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I did this. I paid majority of this. I did that. I protected myself. I protected us. You know what I'm saying? I helped him. I built him. When they get with the guy that's like the fully loaded Lamborghini, it scares them.
Because they're not used to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even that, gets them anxious.
Yep, definitely.
So it's like that might be a struggle for them to submit there too. Because it's crazy, right? And it really depends on the woman. Obviously, the woman who is doing all of that with the guy lesser is more highly in her masculine. She's to a degree submitting there. But the man who is coming in with being vocal, articulating, having adult conversations, he's good at resolving disputes. He's calm in certain situations. He's not putting his hands on you. He's actually taking this stuff away as certain punishment and making you hold yourself accountable, which is healthier. The woman is like fucked up because she's used to the others.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that,
that's true.
She's not able to operate well in that dynamic with the boss. But that man is what's gonna take her to the next level of her getting into her power.
I think she doesn't know she doesn't know how to move with him, because like if she's not used to that type of energy, she's gonna be like, what do I do now? I'm used to this thing. And I think that's why so many people self-sabotage, because they're not used to it. Like you said, they're not saying, well, let's see what I can do to change to stay in this relationship, because I feel like he can elevate me. First of all, I don't think there's any person that's talking like that isn't like on their healing journey, but they're not doing that. And so that's why they self-sabotage, because they're waiting. He's too good to be true, and I don't measure up.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Why should men be held to a traditional societal standard if most women will not adhere to traditional roles or standards?
Why should most men adhere to it?
Yeah,
because they're the leaders, and if they lead in that way and stay, true to that, the women they're gonna have no choice but to follow.
Okay.
No, that's my answer.
Okay, so they should just lead regardless.
Yeah.
A woman approaching, I'm strong, independent. I do this on my own. I've been doing this for a minute, but so they should just lead regardless. Like, not even listen to the woman.
I mean, I think, yeah, of course, listen, see what her story is, but as a leader, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's if you're gonna lead if you are sure in your ways, in your way of thinking, you've been this way your whole life or whatever, and you're gonna keep on maneuvering like that just because you meet somebody that you're interested in. Yeah, hear their story, listen to them. But if they're not gonna, if you are telling them this, if you want to be in my life, this is the rules, this is how I like to be, and she's not doing it, you're just gonna keep on leading. She's either gonna fall in line, or she's gonna fuck it up for herself.
What's gonna be the byproduct of that?
I know. You go. This is too much questions.
Okay, so the byproduct of that is going to be somebody's gonna leave.
Yeah, her. Well, he's gonna tell her to leave.
Yeah, because I don't believe that a woman meeting a guy like this is gonna walk away right away. I don't believe it.
So either.
The reason I don't believe it is because it goes back full circles. The 5 minutes earlier in this segment, when I broke it down on the biological aspect of how women are engineered to be and what they're attracted to. You always hear it. I like a man to take charge. That has been a sentence or a statement since the dawn of early civilization. You understand what I'm saying? So biology, even if she's saying it, right? Her body is not fighting it, because even if she is unaware that there are terms to it, she's reacting. And it makes her feel good. You heard those type of chicks. It might be a hood chick that said it. You know, don't tell me what to do. Sounds good though. Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm dominant or whatever. I lead or whatever. But I do like to be put in my place. Why is she saying that she likes to be put in her place? Biology, science. It makes her feel good. It's sexual arousal. That's what it comes down to. Emotional arousal, psychological arousal. You know what I'm saying? And that leads to, oh, he's a man. That's how it translates in the woman's mind. So if the man is approaching like this, she doesn't need to be aware that there are terms to it. She's going to put him in a category in her mind. And she's going to be like, he must be something. Because it almost translates to her as daddy energy. My pops was definitely like this. My grandfather was definitely like this. Even if she grew up without her father and she has daddy issues, it doesn't matter. Like, she's just gonna see him. Oh yes, daddy. She might even say that. That might pop out of her mouth. Oh my God, I don't say that to a man. Whoa. I don't know where that came from. Yes, daddy. Whoa, I don't know where that came from. Instinctively. So she's not walking away. The man is giving her the ultimatum. Here's the door. No. Okay. So that means you're going to get on your shit. If it happens again, I'm out of here. And then he's a man of his word and he's gone. The betas, the high feminine energy, it's so easy for them to leave. Because they already knew from the beginning, you was trash.
The beta men?
I helped you whatever. You was trash. So she already knew that. It's an ego boost to her while she's there. It has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do. Oh, he needs my help. That makes me feel good. Not really like I'm a good soul and I wear my heart on my sleeve. No, it's an ego thing. It's a self-esteem boost for her. So the moment it's like she reaches that brink of whatever she feels like is betrayal, whatever she feels like, this is the brink of disrespect, and I will not tolerate it. This is what's making me walk away. She walks away quick. The dominant man can do some disrespectful stuff like the asshole. She cries, whatever it is. She calculates. She sees the pros more than the cons, and she stays. It's a struggle for her to leave right away. The beta male might do the same thing. Yeah, she's quick to go. Why? Easy. You had a question.
I did have a question. So is it a high masculine, a woman with high masculine energy? Is she the one that I guess that ego boost from helping him?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make that. I just wanted to clarify that, because I was like, I don't think a feminine woman would, like if she has to keep helping him, like let's say monetary. I don't think that she's gonna. She's not gonna be there. Yeah, she's not gonna be there too long.
And the thing is, the feminine woman actually cares about you. It's not an ego boost for her. Maybe a little bit, but that's not the main thing. Remember, I said in a show prior, I think it was 150, the feminine woman puts her feelings second, his needs first. She prioritizes him. She pedestalizes him, puts him on a pedestal. He's above all men. So in a way, like, yeah, I could feel like this. I got the brat is itching. It's really itching me to come out. Like thirst, like a vampire. The thirst always wins. But I know he don't like it. Let me keep this in check. You see what I'm saying? Because she's thinking more about he don't like it. And there's consequences to this being away, because I was already told this a couple of times or whatever. So now she keeps that in check. You know what I'm saying? She articulates differently.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be a situation where, just giving you an example, Like any woman comes into my life has to accept that there's gonna be women around, whether it's business, whatever it is, right? So a woman who is jealous is high masculine. Sue's always on the show with you. Oh, you going to the studio again with her? Instead of her like being like that or whatever, she could be like, have a good day at the studio. I hope you have a great show. Feminine. The masculine one is gonna react based off, oh, you gonna work with her again?
I'm so nice.
And then it doesn't matter about you being nice.
No, it's just
I
joking.
told you it's about them.
I was just joking.
It's about them. They're the ones that's jealous. It has nothing to do with the guy. It's their unhealed trauma. That's the high masculine woman because what she's displaying is high masculine energy. That's not feminine.
Yeah.
So the feminine woman is actually not going to be, oh, I'm doing this for a self-esteem boost. I'm doing this because I have a rescuer complex, a rescuer syndrome. I'm doing this because of unhealed trauma. I'm doing this because of daddy issues. I'm doing this because of ego. No, she's actually doing that because she loves to please. And when she's in a relationship with a man, it's actually a bonus. You get the best version of me. You get the best version of me. Like strangers don't do that. Get this. This is how I am when I'm in a relationship. You see, that's the feminine woman. So should men be held to a societal standard if most women will not adhere to traditional roles and standards? Yeah. I know it sounds fucked up or whatever, but this goes back to the brat. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to say a man is wrong for thinking like this. I'm going to make it subjective. This goes back to the brat, so this is my opinion only.
Okay.
The man that says, no, I'm not going to be traditional, which comes with all these things, dominant, alpha, masculine, whatever it is, lead, with no question, with conviction. I'm not going to do that until you behave traditionally and are submissive first. That's the brat.
A bratty man?
Yeah, that's the
Gotcha.
brat. You know, spoiled silver spoon baby. That's the beta, for real.
Okay.
That's the beta. The man who's in his masculine is approaching, however. The woman walks up to him, I'm this, I'm that. I got all these accolades. He just like, yo, we going over here. I told you I'm not going to. Like, he's like a comedian in that aspect. It's comedic because the nigga's just literally ignoring you and what you're saying. That's the masculine man versus, I got all these accolades, I'm doing this. And he's like, well, if I'm not going to do this anymore because no, he's like, be quiet, shut up. This is where we're going today. And then eventually she does that. She does that. It's a pattern. It's a habit. And she's able to keep doing that with you because she was doing that already. So it's just nature. Even though she sees you're a different man, it's just nature, habit of the creature of the woman that is just coming out due to certain triggers. So now she's doing that with you, forgetting who you are. And you kind of got to remind her who you are. In a BDSM life, if they live a sadist, masochist dynamic, he might bend her over and spank her and be like, this is what keeps her in line, for her to remember who I am. If it's a dom sub dynamic, he takes things away. He might not be any physicality in there. Then she remembers, oh, there's authority here. And she gets back in her place.
Do you think that there is like a time limit of, okay, so I would expect that to happen in the beginning of a relationship. You know what I mean? Like having to
Put her in her place?
Yeah. Do you think that there's like after a certain time, she's like, no, she doesn't, there's no help for her? So
Men that don't know themselves will keep investing because I've been here with her the longest.
So you do think that there is like a finite?
No. Me, yeah. Remember I said before I do evaluations, like a job, you're on a 3-month probation. In a year, I want to see where we could take it. Are we moving in together? We're going to have kids. I'm giving her a year.
Oh, wow.
Right? That's a time frame to take it to the next level. But through all these courses, you go through evaluations. I've had subs where I'm like, okay, you had these bratty tendencies. I used to cut heads faster than barbers do when I was younger. I got a little bit more patience now. So let's work on it because I see that I could build something here with you. What I'm going to do to get you on the board is we're going to go through an evaluation. So every 2 weeks, we're going to go through an evaluation with you. Every 2 weeks, I'm going to tell you if you're pleasing me and I'm happy with you. Some women that I've dated, oh, I actually like that. Men have never do that. Men have done stuff, never told me what I did. I didn't know. I actually like that. You communicate. You know yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put you through an evaluation because remember, I know myself more now and I've elevated. I used to cut heads faster than barbers do. You give me a little tongue, I'm out. But now I see different because I'm like, oh, I'm building whatever future. I'm like, okay, we could eradicate this little bad habit because there's bigger things than that little toxicity, right? Maternal instincts. She doesn't cheat. That, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
She might have dealt with a bad apple. She might just have 2 bodies under her belt. 2, because whenever she's having sex, she's in a relationship. So she had 2 or 3 boyfriends, right? Those guys were bad apples, but she's actually a good girl. So in a way, it's like, yeah, it's worth it. Because remember, I got all the information prior to me even going on dates and stuff like that because I'm getting to know, is she fuck with drug dealers who illegal drug dealers? Does she fuck with scammers? Does she fuck with guys who are like have uncontrolled aggression, who don't advocate for consent? They just do this. Abusers, physical abuser. Does she fuck with those type of guys? I'm getting information prior because if she stayed there for a long time with those type of guys, trust me, that's her character. She has something dark in her that she will never like reveal because she don't want to get judged. So subconsciously she likes that.
Okay. So you're saying for yourself, do you think that other guys should take that year or less?
I think they should do the 3-month thing because somebody can't, like, they'll expose themselves. Somebody can't lie for that long. After 2-3 months, they're gonna start to show you who they really are. So I would say, like, any business owner and a CEO mentality that also brings that into his relationship thinks like me. I promise you. It may not be the same time frame, but he has certain tests in his mind.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he does.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe you.
The other guys don't. Most likely they're beta. Those betas don't. They don't have boundaries, standards. They don't have certain tests to be like, okay, I'm going to get the ring. Those guys actually like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Yeah, she must have a great character because she's beautiful. Let me introduce her to my mom. Let me get the ring already. Let's move in together.
Yeah, that's
because they don't have great vetting skills.
Yeah.
Like, to be able to know who to trust is a valuable skill.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So they don't have this. They don't have proper discernment. They don't know how to go about it. So I think that's what leads to the catastrophic events.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? So in that regard, you know, I'm studying all these aspects of the woman. So yeah, I give her a time frame because I know that she's going to expose herself eventually. And if she's a hoe and you are unfamiliar with that, she's going to snitch on herself. I'm bored. Why don't we go anywhere? This and that. She's going to be like, oh, you don't give me attention. She's going to go online, maybe post a bikini pic. Oh, you don't do this. Being a brat. And then now she's opening up her DMs, phone, whatever. You start seeing her interacting. And if she is now fighting your ideology, you have to think more in depth. Why? Is there another guy or two that's fighting that? And now she's like contemplating, there's other guys out there that are actually pandering to me and saying that the woman come first and this and that, and it's equal. And that's like more successful. And when in their mind, what is he doing? It's kind of like you see 100 dudes doing this. You see only a couple here. Who are you going to believe by nature? So you could think of that. The other aspect, maybe she's not doing that. Is it the friends? Is it the family? So maybe it's not those, but ultimately, this is still whole behavior, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, do you believe in the hierarchy? God, man, woman, child.
Yes.
Do you also believe in gender equality in society and relationship?
In society and relationship, gender equality. In society, as in work. Okay. So if both if both partners have to work, then I do think that there should be gender equality so that there could be more money coming into the house. But if they have the luxury of staying home, then of course, stay home, take care of your children first and foremost, especially in this world that we're living in, and make sure everything they're safe.
Why do you believe in the hierarchy? God, man, woman, child. Is it because I've said it constantly here, or you really believe it?
Um, I think it's a little bit of both because I wasn't, very religious or spiritual back in the days. I
This has
become
nothing
that.
to do with religion, though.
No, no, no. I
Okay.
know, but because you said God, man, woman, child.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
but
that's why
God
I said
doesn't
it.
entail religion.
I know, but I also said I wasn't spiritual
Okay.
either, that much. So I think it has to do with, your beliefs, what you've said, and with that, with how you teach and educate, it makes sense. You know what I mean
Okay.
with what you say. If, like you said, if you don't have that education, to show you, then you're not gonna, you're gonna believe other things.
Yeah. So believing in a hierarchy is what leads to order. Remember when I said
Mm,
influence leads to thinking and
100%.
then thinking leads to actions? So if you think that there's a hierarchy, it's going to dictate how you move. You know what I'm saying? If you go to certain places, you go to a church, you go to it, like, if I go to the church and I'm not the reverend there, I'm just somebody that just goes there, right? I haven't been to church in years. But if I go to church and the reverend, that's his church, I'm going to abide by the rules he wants there. If he's saying no chewing, I see people smacking here to throw it out. You smacking, I could hear it. It's fucking up my sermon. He's not gonna curse, but
Mm.
use your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't come dressed like that.
Uh,
Talks to her privately or whatever it is, or you know what I'm saying. Like,
at a job too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a hierarchy. You respect that place because they're running it. Podcasts, we bring guests on here and whatever. They're not running things. They're a guest.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hierarchy. So if you believe in a hierarchy, then you are going to move strategically. So if a woman believes in a hierarchy of the spiritual structure, right? She always going to respect the man and value the man because she knows, even before I've said it, God over man, man over woman. My man is in the image of God. He's going to lead me to God. So, instinctively she going to move that because she has a God in her.
Mm-hmm.
She got a special spirit in her. So she's going to have certain morals, values, and code. Now, the woman who does not believe in the hierarchy, the egalitarian relationship she believes in, there's going to be spurts where she's going to disrespect the man because she doesn't believe that. There's going to be spurts where they're in the house and she's going to do it even in front of the children. Giving a poor representation and messing their mental health. You know what I'm saying? Putting that in jeopardy
Yeah.
because she doesn't believe that. Any woman that believes in this knows that going against her man is a sin. And she doesn't have to be religious. I'm just using that as a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
She knows it's not good karma. It's bad. Like, why would I be here if I'm not submitting? If I don't trust and respect them? Because that's part of submission too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would I be here? She doesn't have to listen to all this psychology and science and biology. It's just instinctive. She knows how she is in a relationship. And if she can't be that, she's not going to be present there physically. and emotionally. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. Do you also believe in gender equality in society and relationships? Gender equality in society? No, I don't believe in it. In the workplace? Yeah, I do. So women, if y'all want to come into the field that I work, prepare to maybe roll up your sleeves sometimes and do some shipment. Yeah, go pick that up. Oh, but I'm a girl. Take out the garbage. It's time for you. It's your turn to sweep. So if you want to be a manager too, you be ready to do that stuff. I'm not gonna be like this unless it's like, because I've had this type of situations. It's a tiny girl, and I know you can't lift that. So let me help you. That's the only situation. Come on, you know what I'm saying? It can't be a like complete dick, right? But that's the only exception. But other than that, you're doing what everybody else is doing. You're doing what every key holder is doing. You're doing what every supervisor is doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you came into this type of job.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not fucking with that, go get a feminine job. Go be a secretary. Go do that.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Agree with that.
That's what. So I believe in that. Don't come in here trying to complain that the sports analyst who knows the game more than you and played the game is getting paid a little bit better when you didn't, girl, and you don't know the game like that.
We had this
complain about that. Don't complain about that. Don't complain that you don't do the work that he does. Before shows, he actually studies and does his homework. You don't. You ain't got time for that. But you asking for the same pay? That's crazy to me. So no, I don't believe in it. Relationship, come on. That's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question. So no, because at the end of the day, when shit hits the fan, just to make people understand a little bit more, the woman's always going to turn to the man for protection.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can't do that, she's going to resent you. Even the feminine woman will. The feminine woman is a little bit more polite. She just retains that information. She doesn't verbalize it. The masculine woman's going to eviscerate you. She's going to eviscerate you. She going to fucking hit you low. Like, damn. Oh, she hit me. Oh. Low blow. Oh my God, she went low. She gonna hit you low without even a thought.
Yeah, but do you not feel like maybe he deserves it if he's putting her in danger?
Nah.
Let's say they hear a noise downstairs and he's like, I'm not gonna go, you go.
Why is he saying that?
That's
this
what I'm
goes back to the
saying.
beginning though.
Yes.
Why is he saying that? Because she's highly masculine.
Or he's highly feminine. Or it's
yeah,
both.
But check this out. Check this out. Dude, polarity. Highly feminine woman won't stay with a highly feminine man too long. So most likely the masculine woman's getting the feminine guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees that you're masculine without putting a term to it or whatever, his energy, his spirit. Yeah, you go take care of it. That's why. There's no way the man is seeing a feminine woman who is just, what? Why are you looking at me for? You just can't. I'm just going to say, do it. It's going to make him step up. And if it doesn't make him step up, she's just going to be like, I got to get out of here. Because that's the second time he put me in the masculine position. I got to get out of here. My safety is at risk. The masculine woman will stay. I'm telling you, it doesn't work. Most likely, if she's feminine and he's feminine, she's leaving. Most likely, or he is. Because remember, he's just not competent. So what she is, how she is just not in tune with my psyche as a male. I need a woman to be more, do more. The woman who is with the masculine man who is with the feminine woman, they hear a noise downstairs, it's unspoken. Just like when we go to different countries, they don't ask, the check comes, they look at each other. So, I mean, what we gonna do? Am I getting the cheeks tonight? Nah. Oh, let's split it then. Let's split. What we gonna do? It's unspoken. He knows the check comes. Hey, why you try to touch it? He's taking it. He's not even letting you see the bill. It's unspoken, just like in other countries. So he hears a noise downstairs. He's not saying, yo, did you hear that? He's like, I'll be right back. Watch the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Either he's spraying or he's breaking noses.
Yeah, definitely.
if it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? If shit, happening. So he's not going to say, oh, you heard a noise downstairs? What should we do? What should we do? Do you want to go check that out?
Hell no.
We're in a situation where we're out and about, and he has you on the side of the traffic. It's unspoken. He's like, they switch to go to the other side. Hey, move on this side. She just does it. I'm teaching here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's unspoken with gender roles. When you're in your core energy. It's when you are not in your core energy, you are asking each other. So, Sue, where you want to go eat? What you feeling today? You think we should podcast today? Where we going? Yeah, if you was dealing with a guy like that in business, you would not be lasting no 14 seasons, because he would be asking you. I mean, what do you think? You think we should do it this week? What did you think? What you think? You know what I'm saying? And when certain things have occurred, where it's like you were in a situation, family or whatnot, he would not pick up the slack for the both of y'all. He would just wait for you. He would not pick up the slack for the both of y'all until you was good and ready, and then it was like that. It wouldn't be a team in his mindset. You'd be fucked, Sue.
Oh yeah.
Metaphorically, you'd be fucked.
That's what I think.
Because he ain't got a plan. So ultimately, the masculine man comes with a plan. Oh, he heard a noise. She might bring it to his attention. Oh, I heard a noise. Wake up. I heard a noise. Yo, stay back. I'll be right back. It's unspoken, man. He's not putting her in that type of situation. He's responsible. He's resilient. He's competent. It's unspoken. I'll reiterate.
Yeah. I do think, I want to say, I think a feminine woman, if she's with a highly feminine man, I definitely think she's leaving. And a masculine man who's with a highly masculine woman, he's leaving.
Unless the sex is good or she looks gorgeous, he's not going to be doing certain things, but just doing that.
The feminine man?
The masculine guy.
The masculine guy.
Yeah.
If he's not a dominant type of person, just masculine.
Yeah, so check this out, right? The masculine man who is with that woman that is highly masculine and he's there for the superficial, he will stay there, but it's not going to last. The alpha will be there for the superficial. There's a difference, alpha and masculine. I've said this already. Season 13 premiere. So the masculine man has God in him.
Okay.
He's a god. He's a king. Not so much the alpha. So in a way, that man, even if he's there for that, it's not going to last. Eventually, it's going to irritate his soul and he's going to force you to step up, or the ultimatum is, I'm out of here, or you can go. So either way, one or two things she'll be forced to do. She'll be forced to get out of this nature and get back into her real nature, or she's just gonna keep doing it for him to make the decision, because she's not gonna make the decision. She's not, because she's gonna feel that she's gonna run back to him. So she's gonna have him make the decision.
But couldn't she just run back to him even if he makes a decision?
Most women don't do that. That's feminine women. Like, feminine women will end up eventually like crying and chasing for the guy. The masculine woman is, even though she wants to do that, she's like too prideful. She got an ego. She's like, something. He lost out losing me. Like, I had an ex like that. She was like, this was when I was young, mad young. You never gonna find like me. And I said, being a fucking Scorpio and sarcastic and shit and a fucking nitpicker and it's fueling the fire, right? This was bad. But I was like, I hope you're right. And I said it calm. She was yelling, you're never gonna find like me. And I was like, I hope you're right. And that made the matters worse because she got angrier.
That was toxic. You.
Yeah. So woman says that, I'm retaining that. I'm not telling her. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Listen, girl. Whatever makes you feel good, you won. You could win. I'm not gonna find like you. You're right. But in my mind, I know I can. You know what I'm saying?
Or I don't even want to find like you. I want to find better.
Yeah, in my mind, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. But
Now you're nicer.
I'm a lot different because I don't believe in no tit for tat. I believe in ending it cordially with peace.
Clean break. That's
You know
how
what I'm
it should
saying?
be.
That's how I believe it. But ultimately, like, it's very difficult to be with these type of women, masculine, and it's very difficult for women to be with those type of males, highly feminine. Very difficult because of the woman needs. So you got to look at it: yin and yang, balance, polarity. The feminine woman cannot be with a feminine guy. She requires a lot. The masculine woman can, because like, well, don't worry if you ain't got nothing. I got stuff. So yeah, we'll just build off that. The feminine woman is not going to come in and say, I'm going to be the provider and protector. That makes her anxious. That's like disrespectful. Like, you're disrespecting me. That's her mentality. Damn, you're disrespecting me by putting me in this. And they don't need to understand what I'm saying. It just makes sense. Your body reacts to it. Your mind, your nervous system goes up. And when you just put in that certain situation, it might be articulated to you.
Yeah.
It don't make them feel good. The masculine women don't have a problem. And that might be also they get with those type of guys, they feel like they got to fix control. That's why it goes back full circle. Like, the boss is going to make you step up. The king, the god is going to make you step up.
Yeah.
These women that are used to that are not giving the shit up. So they get with these guys and they bump heads. Because like, no, I had control over there many, many times.
Yeah.
I can't come in here and do that. Yes, she's attracted to that guy because he's getting her back into her nature. Her feminine parts are tingling. That's that's the prerequisite that's pushing her towards him. But ultimately, while you're in there investing weeks, months, you start to see that things that he's doing is irritating you because of what you're used to.
Yeah. She probably feels bipolar.
And now, going back to the next sentence, the shaming can come into play. Because the next question is going to be that. The shaming can come into play about her trying to shame you. Remember, I told you, the masculine woman has no shame, operative word, eviscerating you. She does not feel like, she's not going to go back and be like, wow, I was so ashamed of myself that I talked to you like that. She's highly emotional. And when you hit her buttons, she gets defensive and attacks you. So she will hit low blows, and she probably will start to bring out
past stuff?
Yes, the secrets that you were vulnerable with her with.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Maybe start talking about your family. Maybe start talking, oh, well, you was in that job for blah, 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 blah. Why didn't you get to that position? I'm just naming all scenarios, not personal. You was in that job. Meanwhile, he was in a position where it couldn't elevate because of this, that, maybe racism or whatnot, even if he was working hard. You knew about that, but now you using that to your advantage. That's why you've been there. That's why you drive trucks. That's why you blah, blah, blah. But be an entrepreneur. This and like all that shit is coming out now. Oh, that's why you did this. I'm the one that helped you do that. I'm the one that helped you get that.
Oh, like
you ain't made no money.
Throwing it back in your face.
Yeah.
I also don't like when people bring stuff up that you guys already talked about, and then they still want to bring it up. Yeah, but remember when you did this to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we bringing that up if we already talked about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who is more controlled by shaming, men or women?
Who is more controlled by shaming? Like who, because
who
of
will
being
keep their chin
shamed?
in check? Who will hold themselves more accountable because of shaming? So who's more controlled by it? Remember, laws. Okay.
I'm gonna say men.
I thought I needed to elaborate more. Okay.
See, I pick up a few things. I'm gonna go with men. And I remember
Why?
one time you said a man can tell his friend, "Damn, what happened? You got fat." And I witnessed it yesterday. a man telling one of his people, he's like, "What happened? You don't go to the gym no more. You gained weight." And the other guy took full accountability. He's like, "I know. I got to go back to the gym." Girls don't do that. Even if something looks bad, you know, for, maybe that's my friend. I don't want to hurt her feelings. Or, damn, it doesn't look good, but again, I don't want to hurt her feelings. Like we don't do that. And I think that as horrible as it sounds, sometimes you need to.
You gave a great example of what I was gonna get into
With the guy?
with men. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, just controlled, ladies and gentlemen, order. So there's a reason why we have stop signs, lights. So there's discipline, no chaos. Laws, crime, right? So there's no chaos. And that keeps certain people in check, especially when they know they got a lot to lose. They may want to, but because of this, they hold themselves accountable. Men, there's more liberation for women than anything else. Men are held to a higher standard to provide and protect in the relationship. So even in society, when it pertains to shaming, more men will adjust due to this than women, because there's so much empowerment, even sexual liberation. The way they post, you have so many women, even the most subtle things are in the comments. I don't really often see women saying, "God damn," like in the comments shaming a chick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why is she doing this? Da da da. She got kids. Like this and that. Oh, she's a hoe. Like, I don't see that often. And most males ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
Most males ain't. And if men like me have a problem with that, they're not gonna be in the comments. They're gonna keep it to themselves, because they know that shit ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
They're gonna get it. They're gonna be like, then get off the page.
Yeah, I remember I was following a woman, and she had like thousands of followers, thousands of comments, and I saw something like that, and I went into the comments because it just popped up my newsfeed. I went into the comments and being petty, right? I went into the comments like, do you think this is this that? You got kids? Do you, maybe you should put some clothes on. You really think that this is gonna help you get a man? You had a video prior where you were talking about how you lonely and all these men out here don't know. Could this be based off your actions? You ever think of that? And then she blocked me. But ultimately, like, and not a lot of men gonna do that.
That's true.
Because they're benefiting from the hoes. Oh, yeah, we need them, right? Because they could quench that thirst. It's not gonna, war won't start. Sometimes they're needed, right? I ain't fucking with them. But those guys, they need them for a release. That's all you're good for. Fill up the trash bag because you're a trash bag. Take it out. Let the garbage man come pick it up and it's never seen again. So you fill it up and then you just take it out. It's never seen, because if you leave it in your house, it's just going to stink up the fucking place. That's all it's going to do. That's all they're good for. And those guys know that. That's why they don't say nothing. Because they're still heterosexual. They're not going the other way. So they don't say nothing. It's appeasing to them. They're also not trainers. So they don't train women to be like that for them, only for them. That's why they find it. It's the same thing, goes back full circle. Finding the fully loaded Lamborghini. So I ain't got a trainer. You shaming her for a body count, but then you also shaming her that she's boring in bed. You see? It's the lack of the trainers. The people, the men who are not leaders. Yeah. The guys who are leaders, they're really rightfully so have a problem with your body count. Why you were doing this online. They legitimately do, because they train. So they don't have a problem. Yeah, I take the good girls and turn them out only for me. And they could be like that online. You ain't never gonna see it, because I train women how to please me. A lot of dudes ain't in this category. So that's why they'll keep their mouth shut or even encourage that. Yeah, girl, act bad. Yeah, make OnlyFans. Yeah. They'll encourage that. And that even gives them motivation for more. So women are not just getting liberated by women. They're getting liberated by males. So it's harder It's harder.
No wonder they're
Women
confused.
women will hold men accountable. Oh, you don't take your responsibility. You don't do this. Men ain't shit. Da, 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 da. Men will hold other men accountable. But when it pertains to the woman, it's very rare. Oh, body positivity. Da, 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 da. You could still look like a Lizzo, and they'll be like, yeah, that's great. Go out dressed like that. Wear all this tight stuff. Come on, girl. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Wear shit that fit you if you're going to be that size. That's crazy to me. I just lost my lunch. Like, no, this is shaming. We need to do that. But they're not. Society's going, oh, yeah, well, yeah, body positivity. Oh, it's your body. Have an abortion. Yeah. Do it. That's a sin, killing babies. It's a sin. Nothing good's coming from that. You think God's rewarding you for that? You got to do a lot of repenting to God. You got to ask God a lot of forgiveness for him to reward you. You got to do a lot of good. For those 2 or 3 or 4, shit, some women out here you don't know, probably kill 4 babies. You got to do like 10, 20 good things to eradicate that.
I just want to say one thing. I believe in pro-choice, and I think that yes, while having an abortion is not a form of birth control, I do feel that there are circumstances where
we talked about it. Great.
I just want to say that,
and stuff like that. That's probably the only exception, but
incest.
Yeah, but it's like there's unfortunate circumstances that we're put in, and unfortunately there are not some good men out there who have God in them. Even family members, they see that their whatever niece, whatever sister, daughter is developing fast, and they're just thinking like a caveman. They don't have God in them. So they slap their butts as jokes. They call them booty names or whatever, sexualizing them. It come from family members, sexualizing them, so that a woman grows up like that. Molestation, like you said, they don't have God in them really. To know, like, nah, that's
I just want to clarify that, because somebody might get triggered from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but ultimately, like, putting yourself in certain circumstances, I think what's gonna help us, because I had there was actually a subscriber that commented in one of the last shows, how can society be better or something like that. It may not be verbatim. And I replied with education. That's the only thing that could save us. Education. And with education, it comes back full circle. Influence leads to thinking. Thinking leads to movements. So with the education is going to lead to influence. Then they're going to start thinking. And then they start thinking, they start moving right. So they're going to know how to dress. They're going to know to not be put in certain circumstances and go to certain places. They're going to know not to be around certain people because they make me feel uncomfortable. They might say certain things that make me feel uncomfortable, even if it's a family member. I don't want to go to that uncle's house, Mom. Why? And you tell them, and it's like, it might be their relative, but it might be the brother, might be the father's brother, might be the mother's brother, and they're not gonna believe you because they just, I grew up with them. We was together before you were born. I don't believe they would do that. So I don't believe in you. But it's like it comes down to education. It comes down to that, and you put yourself in certain circumstances. So maybe lie. Oh, we're going to uncle's house or whatever. Oh, I don't feel well. Maybe lie, like keep doing that to get yourself out of that situation. There could be certain education. You want to help them, I'm helping them too. There could be certain circumstances to get out of that, but it's all about education. The liberation of sexuality in women is big.
Oh, yeah.
It's big, and it's the biggest problem of putting these women in those certain circumstances, especially the younger ones, to do that. So now they're on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, twerking. You see booty, and these women are 15 years old, 12 years old, 20 years old, 21, 25, 29, 30, and they're just doing this oblivious to fucking life, their nature, and how the opposite nature thinks and operates.
Yeah.
because they don't have that type of guidance. They don't have that type of education. Clearly, it's not coming from the domestic environment.
Mm-hmm.
And all their friends are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's no education for them. So the education is paramount. That's where it begins. Do you believe men are held to a standard to provide and protect in a relationship?
I thought we did that one.
No.
Do I believe men are held to a standard? Yes, I do.
Okay, great.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, even if somebody might say, I don't believe in gender roles, we go back to our nature, and then you start shaming him for not doing it.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Or putting you in certain circumstances that make your nervous system go up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we go back to like saying that you could shame a man for not being a provider, a protector, and you can't tell women they can't do a lot of stuff. Like, for example, you can't tell a woman they can't be a woman if they don't cook and clean and are submissive. So for a man's standard, it'd be like, oh, I'm going to shame you because you don't take care of your kid. I'm going to shame you because you don't do this. I'm going to do this. You don't provide. You don't protect me. You ain't a man because a real man does this. So a real man is determined by certain people's ideologies.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the woman if you're like, well, you ain't a woman if you don't cook and clean. Why am I doing all the cooking? Isn't that weird to you? All you do is just order out. You ain't a woman then. If you're not submissive here, you ain't a woman. Because you're not getting in your feminine nature. And it's like, nah, you can't determine what a woman is. So it's like, it's hard. The men eat it. Then they most likely step up to the shame. The women fight it, especially if they're unhealed. They fight it. And now their comeback is, no, you can't, because a woman can be everything. When they have March 8th, National Women's Day, you always see that. A woman is everything. She could be everything. You can't tell them shit. You can't tell them shit today. And if you do, you're labeled as a misogynist. You're canceled.
That's true.
So in a way, there's so much misandry going on, which is the hate for men, that can still be intact. They won't get shamed. They won't get fined. They won't lose sponsors and endorsements. None of that. There's actually a Chiefs player. He's a kicker.
Oh, is that what he is?
Buckner or something his name. And he went on an interview and said, not verbatim, but he says he believes in traditional roles. He believes in this and that. He got a lot of hate from that. A lot of the players are going against what he says as liars because they believe it too. Oh, no, I don't agree with his statements. And then behind closed doors, did I lose my sponsors? They're good, right? Did I lose my endorsements? Nah, you good. Perfect.
Yep.
Of course they believe in that, but they're not going to support him because that's not cool today to say. I like that he said that. Took a lot of courage to say that. And he wasn't even as aggressive as me. He was very nice, very soft-spoken. He said it in the most eloquent fashion, too. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, now the whole organization is going against it. Shit, he might get traded. And no team might want him after that.
That's crazy.
No team might want him. They might sit his ass out the whole season because of it. Nah, this is bad if he goes out there. He's going to lose the endorsements of the NFL too. If he's out there, knowing that this shit is now public. It's dangerous. Yeah. We might all believe it, but could he have just kept his mouth shut? Who prepped this motherfucker for an interview? Who booked him? Who booked this motherfucker for an interview? He didn't prep him? Fire the agent who booked him and didn't prep him. He didn't read the teleprompter?
But
he didn't prep him?
He should be
freedom of speech ain't free anymore.
No, but what I was gonna say is he had, as a child growing up, he knew what it was to not have his mom in the house because his mom worked and busted her ass to get him to where he got. So now that he has his own family, he's lived that life where the mom works and she wasn't in the home, and now as an adult with his own family, it's fair for him to say, I don't want that for my kids because I lived through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I also wanted to touch on the question. Can you repeat it? The last question that you said, do I believe men something with each
Do you believe men are held to a standard to provide and protect in a
Yes,
relationship?
and you know what else? This goes back to even further back when the men had to go and ask the fathers for their daughter's hand in marriage. The father would say, "How are you going to provide for her?"
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it goes back from back in the days. It's not, anything new. We forget that because men don't do that anymore. Let's get married, let's go elope. But back then, you had to go and talk to the father, and the father would sit there and ask you all these questions. How do you plan on providing for my daughter and or grandchildren?
Yeah, true. A woman can stay home or be a career woman.
Or
She
be a
could still
career.
be a woman. So this goes back
Yes.
to what I said, like a woman could be anything and still be seen as a woman. So even if I don't want to cook and clean, he does all the cooking and cleaning, I'm still a woman. I don't have to be submissive and in my feminine energy to still be a woman. Now, if the man does not want to help me around the house with the feminine duties, he ain't a man. If a man does not want to pay all the bills, he's not a man. If the man wants to stay home, he's not a man.
Wants to stay home and be like a stay-at-home husband? Like a stay-at-home dad?
Maybe.
It's unfortunate that society does think that way, but I mean, if the man's gonna stay home, I think that just paints a bad picture for him, because the society does think a man should be out there, getting a job, bringing home the bacon so the woman can cook it. You know what I mean? But I don't. I mean, for me myself, no. I think it's all circumstantial. Like, why is he home? I would have to ask in-depth questions.
So, me, I believe in this. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I believe in this. The masculine is built to work. The feminine, optional. And some people may say double standards. I don't care. This is solely my opinion. It's not fair. They still think equal. People could be preaching gender roles and then have a problem with this. And I'm not trying to manipulate. But it's weird if you're still battling this, because this is part of gender roles too. It is.
That he should
It's
be
like
working.
it's a man who has God in him and believes in the spiritual structure, has morals and values, but glorifies hoes. Same thing. It's the same thing. Yo, it's weird. You playing both sides of the fence, man. Because of this, I don't know who you are. So it's the same thing for women and men who advocate for dominance and submission, who advocate for traditional values and morals and roles, gender roles, and also still have a problem with this and saying, well, nah, that shouldn't determine a man. Yeah, well, it's like I said, it's my opinion only. I'm not trying to sway nobody. I believe it is. I believe you're not a man if you do that. You want to stay at home. She works. You want to do all the cooking and she doesn't. You're not a man. And I'm shaming now. I don't care. They could try to cancel me, whatever. But the reality is, if we want to be successful and operate at our optimal level and coexist with each other well, we need to incorporate gender roles. We need to incorporate shaming, because the man with you, when he holds you accountable, he don't need to put his hands on you. Oh, you about to go out dressed like that and do some whole shit? That's already shaming, because I said whole shit. That's the operative word. So I'm shaming you. And now the woman is like, oh shit, I didn't even know that. Damn, you think of me like that? Oh shit, let me go change real quick, because your opinion of me matters. So the shaming makes her even hold herself accountable. So yeah, man, if you were staying at home and you're making her work, you're not a man. If you're not taking care of your kids and you're not teaching them about how to be a man, whether it's a boy, you're not teaching the girl what to look for in a man, or protecting her, making her feel more secure in her femininity, you're not a man. If you're not spending time with your family, you're not a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Vito said that in Godfather.
Oh.
Vito said that in Godfather. Corleone, you spending time with your family? Yeah, good, because a man can't be a man if he don't spend time with his family. So I got that from that.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't me, that part. but it's true. Even if it is a film, it is true. So I believe this from my ideologies. Other people can have their own perspective of what they believe a man is. But we need to go back to this. There's too much non-binary and stuff of that nature, and you could be whatever, and men can be women now, and women can be men, and you get a sex change. So we don't mention what is the definition of a real man now. What is the definition of a real woman now? We don't say that anymore because it's too sensitive. You're gonna hurt people's feelings. You're gonna be canceled. No, this is too aggressive here. Don't say that. Can't watch them. So it is. When we get in our gender roles, this is what determines our gender. Yeah.
I agree. To the points that you said, if this is, a healthy man, there's nothing wrong with him. There's no injuries that's stopping him from going out and working. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But when, like my statement before, did he get hurt on the job and now he can't? Then I don't want to trigger people.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Dito, imagine
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He gets hurt. What is he doing in the house? You see? Because he could still be fixing things. Yep. He could still be building things. He could probably be building his business. So now he's staying productive. Exactly. It's common as a masculine to stay productive. Maybe not so much of the feminine in a sense of that. Her staying productive in the femininity aspect, okay, cooking, cleaning, house, stuff of that nature, teaching the kids, watching them, taking them to school, whatever it is. But the masculine stays more productive. Now, I'm not shaming career women. They could still be career women, but I always go back to what I say. Get into a career where you could still embody your femininity. Then it makes sense. So you could still be a woman. Now, the situation where it's like, okay, we're in different times. So households may require two income. Yes, you still come home and do the feminine duties. A lot of women have a problem with that. You still come home and do the feminine duties because this goes back to season 10 premiere. Yeah, my mind is like that. Season 10 premiere, when I said that if you choose to go out and work and you come home and not give love the same way, you are cheating. You are cheating. Figuratively cheating. It's a fact. In my perspective. It may not be a fact, but in my perspective, it is. It's cheating. So if you are going to give a corporation and if you have a male boss, so you're telling me you do everything he asks for and you're going to come here and complain because I want my food on the table. I'm sitting at the head of the table and you're going to complain that you got to bring me my plate all the time. But you don't give the boss a lip. Yeah, you're cheating even literally. Yo, I break shit down to make people think. So the woman has more work to do. But to make it an even playing field, split the duties. So the man do the masculine stuff. The woman do the feminine stuff. So yes, two incomes are required, but we need to do more. We need to work even harder when we come home. So we still embody our core energies and we still incorporate gender roles because there's no way in hell the door's coming off its hinges and I'm going to let you get the toolbox and go fix it, even if you can do it. There's no way in hell we need to put up new drapes and you say you know how to use a drill and I'm going to allow you to do that. So it's the same thing. You got to find special people who their mentality coincide with each other. That's what's going to make it work. So if you get with a guy who believes in gender roles and you get with a woman who doesn't and y'all both work, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Either she's going to cheat or he's going to cheat, divorce, whatever. It's going to be a problem. But if you get two people who have always been feminine and masculine, who have always been submissive when they get in relationships, who have always been dominant when they get in relationships, and then they get with each other and they believe in gender roles, they believe in family and stuff of that nature, they both can work. And they come home and they take off their mask and they get into their roles. So yeah, maybe she is more masculine in her job, but she comes home and she's submissive. She takes off the mask. He's more dominant in his job and he comes home and he doesn't have to transition. Yeah, the woman has to do a little bit more work if she's traditional. But once again, if she's in a feminine job, she never loses that. That's a blessing. When you can get with a woman who's in a feminine job and she's maybe a boss there, and then she can come home and still be feminine, it's a blessing.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. So you got to find the person. You got to find the partner.
Yeah.
So high feminine energy women don't submit to, high masculine energy men don't provide and protect for. So that's what it comes down to. It comes down to gender roles. And gender roles is us getting back into our nature and embodying our core energy, which men is masculine, women is feminine. Masculine is dominant, feminine is submissive. And then yin and yang, we come together and coexist like a cohesive unit. And we could continue to build a family structure. And then we can teach our kids to do this. Because that's part of the agenda. Because that's godly, that's powerful, that's strong, that's divinity. So if we make it an egalitarian relationship, we know that shit chaotic.
Yeah.
Those are my final thoughts.
Those are very good final thoughts. And I agree.
All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic. Only one more episode left.
And if you haven't gotten your tickets for this year's Divine Discipline Workshop, BDSM Part 2, you're going to miss out.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you think and you see how intense I am here,
you don't know.
Understand that there's not going to just be me displaying the toys and tell them how they operate and stuff of that nature. There's going to be education. Not many males who are leading this life or whatever are doing it like me. And that's not me being arrogant. It's a fact. You're going to go to these workshops that they're going to be, oh, I'm going to show you how to spank a woman. I'll show you that she's multi-orgasmic. I could do all that stuff too. What puts me on the elite level, what puts me on the stellar level is the fact that I can educate as well. That's the difference that separates me from all these other doms. I'm an elite one. So everything's going to come with education for me. I'm not just, it's actually boring to me to just be like, well, can I get a volunteer? Let me show you how I could tie. And then that's all the workshop's going to be. Demonstration. I'm going to get into the negotiations. I'm going to get into the SSC, safe, sane, consensual. I'm going to get into all the nitpicking, the nook and cranny of the lifestyle and how you are going to operate in this. Because 40% of people, maybe even more than that, 70 will say, crave to live this lifestyle. Maybe only 20%, 30% live it.
Wow, that's a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So the reality is most of them that are living it are just the sexual aspect. They're not training in all these other aspects. It's just sexual. So you could have like a private BDSM relationship, top and bottom type relationship. It's not 24/7. They're not living it also outside of the bedroom. They don't really know themselves. And they're masking their trauma too by coming into it. Blinking in, oh, well, I went through a really, really hard time at work and I'm stressed out. The woman says, let me go to the sadist so he could spank me red and I could see welts on me to the brink where I'm bleeding because I need a release. That makes me feel good because I'm a masochist. There's trauma there. Why you do that? But why can't it also be a relationship outside? You see? So I'm going to break down the dynamics. Dom sub, sadist masochist. A sadist is not a dom. A masochist is not a submissive. Sadist, dominant might have some sadist tendencies, but he's not a dom. But he's not a, but the sadist is not a dom. Submissive might have some masochistic tendencies, but she's not a masochist. And it might be in only certain situations, certain environments. Might not be 24/7. So I'm gonna break it down the way nobody breaks it down.
So make sure you grab them tickets.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go fast.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, everybody is actually living BDSM to a degree. And they're unaware of it.
Is that something you're going to cover?
I did in the first one. So even if they're not like thinking that they're going to take this with them, they're definitely going to meet somebody out there who's engaging in this, might not know themselves. A woman might run into a guy that's like this. He doesn't know himself, but he has certain characteristics. And, she, with my education, can now seek out the red flags and the green flags because she has the education. So you're going to run into them because they're out here like gods and goddesses walking among humans. They're not wearing a sign that says I'm dominant, I'm BDSM. No. You know what I'm saying? Like most of the time they're, they like look just hiding? Like you and I.
Incognito.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real, no holds barred, intense, and passionate, stimulating conversations after dark. Real thought-provoking. One more time. One more episode left. The workshop is in 2 weeks. Real podcast, the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Peace.